why nerfing Superman actually makes him stronger than he already is. This is half of what I've been saying, guys. I've been saying it was a smart move of James Gunn to nerf Superman, but this stronger than he already is part, I don't know about that. I'm real curious. Check out the link for the original guy in the description.
Picture this.
All right.
It's July 11th, and James Gunn just gave us one of, if not the best adaptation of Superman we've seen on live action ever.
Okay. Put in the comments, is this the best live adaptation of Superman ever? A lot of people are saying it is, but I'm doing polls, and I'm thinking part of that might be because of how few people actually have seen Christopher Reeve at an adult age, okay? Like his first movie. So just put in the comments, which is better? David, Henry, Reeve, which is better? Which is better?
However,
Rank 'em.
as the days went by, there was one small thing I couldn't help but wonder.
Okay.
Was he a bit weak? And how was that a good thing? If you watch the movie,
I got a video coming out soon, guys. Not a reaction video, a video I do where I rank the strength of Superman based what we've seen them do with their muscles on screen. Very interesting video. Be looking out for it, okay?
this is your only and final warning. You would know that
Spoilers.
this is how most
Spoilers.
battles actually look in the movie. Either Superman getting beat up or him being too focused on saving people to maintain the upper hand in battle.
Okay, I don't know about that too focused on saving people part, but he definitely is getting beat up a lot in this movie. He's never too focused on saving people. Superman cannot be too focused on saving people unless he's focused on saving people in a way that hurts people. I don't know. But he didn't have the upper hand in this battle because he wasn't trying to kill it. They were trying to kill it.
But is this bad though? Not at all. In fact, it actually makes him stronger.
All right, I'm all ears.
Superman
I'm all ears.
is an absolute machine when it comes to fighting. If you know any of his feats or even watched Man of Steel, which I'll talk about later, Snyder Cultist, don't worry, you would know there are 3 big things that define Superman's fighting style.
Okay.
And I believe James Gunn's version gets all of them right.
All right.
Saving people.
Yes.
Throughout the movie, we see Superman worrying about every little...
I agree with this 100%. That's what they nailed in this movie. He cares about life, and that's what he's giving up to take care of it.
living creature. His number one priority isn't even to defeat the bad guy. It's to get most people safe. Something this other Superman, well... didn't
That was loud. I might turn that down for the video. I don't know, but I want you to see what I'm talking about. It was loud.
quite care much about. In the monster fight, he's always looking out for people, getting them to safety, and even asking if they're okay. That is being human. James Gunn does a perfect job balancing the superhero, since even though he could take down most foes in minutes or even seconds, he's always worrying for everyone else around him. He even cares for the monster, planning to take him to an intergalactic zoo
He does.
instead of blowing his stomach up. My point is, he's got his priorities straight. Saving people first, preventing the entire destruction of Metropolis second, exploring options that don't result in the death of the enemy third, that's optional, and finally kicking his For the number 2 defining trait that Gunn gets right about his fighting is that, well, he doesn't. As far as I'm concerned, Superman's experience with fighting is a combination of natural ability and learning from previous encounters, which fits his character
I would
so
agree,
well.
yes.
Believe it or not, Clark Kent is more of a chill dude who will always rather talk than fight. And in this movie, we see a bunch of examples of him trying to talk it out
The dog, loser! You took the dog!
before going the violent route.
That's a good point. He does. He tries to talk it out. He even with Engineer was like, hey, there's still hope for you guys. Like, you don't have to do what he says. I mean, he really does try to talk it out and make sure that fighting does not happen if at all possible.
Where's the...
And then he threw that table right after I said that.
And when he does have to fight, his style is way more, let's say, creative. You can tell he knows nothing about fighting styles like Kung Fu or Jiu-Jitsu,
Right.
unlike the Dark Knight who's out there doing who knows what in Gotham.
If you're lying, I'll break the other one. The other one?
But that only makes it more interesting to see how he's gonna defeat his enemies. He's got the fighting style of a guy who only punches when he needs to. But when he does, you can be sure he's either gonna go full blender on you or punch you out of the planet's orbit. Or is he? The last defining factor of Superman's fighting style is something that, out of all people, I believe Zack Snyder got right. And that is power. And just like Superman,
Agreed. Zack Snyder did get the power right. He missed a lot of things, but he really showed us that Superman, I mean, he was kind of it. You know what I mean? Like, he did a good job at that part.
you have the power to hit that subscribe button. Yeah, it sounded way better in my head. Like, don't get me wrong, lifting a kaiju, a huge building, and escaping a black hole with his breath ain't no easy tasks. But you could tell how Gunn purposely nerfed him, since none of the sun charges he gets throughout the movie ever seem to get him up to full power. The first one gets him up to about 80%, and then he gets a small burst of power from this and then gets Kryptonite poisoning, which most likely means he wasn't at his 100% for the final battle.
Well, yeah. That's what I've been trying to tell people. He's not at 100% pretty much the entire movie. Maybe for the kaiju fight, but everything else, he has been compromised. When he woke up at his parents' house, he was just waking. He'd slept all night in the dark. You know what I mean? And then he just woke up and got to work. He really wasn't, like, healed.
Especially since he had little time to rest and recover. The question we have to ask ourselves is, why would James Gunn do this? With Snyder, we got to see a Superman who made up for his lack of true humanity and raw power. This man was giving us some mind-blowing fight scenes that, although seemed to leave Metropolis looking worse than Earth in WALL-E, it was extremely cool, and certainly accurate in terms of power to some of his evil versions in comics like Ultraman or the Dictator Superman from the famous Injustice series. The thing is, All-Star Superman, which is the comic series Gunn based his movie on, isn't known for his mind-blowing feats of strength, but rather acts of kindness and love towards people, especially children. Why is this so important? Because it shows how two directors can show a contrasting side of the same character while still making him look powerful. It's just a different kind of power. The reason this Superman seems weak.
What do you think? Do you think that James Gunn made Superman look powerful, or did he kind of fail on that part? Like, did he actually look powerful, or did he just look weak and he had big heart? Like, what do you think?
Is because the point of this movie wasn't to show an all-powerful and scary version of a god who could rule Earth in a day if he wanted to,
Right.
ending the movie in about 10 minutes. The idea was to develop a Superman who, although realizes he has been sent on a mission to enslave Earth, has absolutely no intentions in doing so. If Cavill's Superman were in this position, I would be terrified most of the movie, because I believe
That's not a bad point. Put this in the comments. Do you think if Cavill's Superman had been told, you're supposed to rule, would he have done that? I want to know if you think that Cavill's Superman would have done that if his parents told him that that's what his destiny was to do. Or did Snyder show that he had enough heart that he would have been like, no, this doesn't seem right. I don't think so.
that any wrong move against him could get him to turn on humanity. Which was kind of the plan, really. But since we instead got a Superman who chose to care for the lives of humans more than his own, the story becomes way more powerful, even more than the character himself.
Yeah, that's kind of actually how it is with Jesus. So with Jesus, sorry if you're not a religious person, but you see that Jesus himself is like, praying to God, let this cup pass from me, but whatever, your will be done. So we know that Jesus is doing it out of his own accord, not because he's being forced. Because if he wanted to, he could do something else. That's what I see in this Superman. He's being told, this is what you want to do, but he's doing the right thing out of his own accord because he wants to do it. And that's really cool. I like that a lot. But again, tell me if you think Henry Cavill's would have done the same thing.
Should we be worried about the future then? Quite the opposite. I'm actually glad that this is how Superman was portrayed for his first movie. And you should be too. Would it have been cool to see Superman as an impenetrable force who's not to be reckoned with?
Well, sure. It's just not him.
Of course. But what about the children? Wait, let me explain. As seen in All-Star Superman, the superhero is close to children. And they didn't fear him. They loved him. Thanks to the colorful suit and the...
Not in a creepy way. Again, in a Jesus way. You know what I mean? Like, they're just coming up to him and appreciating what he is.
funny-ass trunks, kids aren't afraid to be around him. And instead of seeing him as a god they should adore, they see him as a friend they can trust.
Exactly.
And I much rather see...
I know that James Gunn didn't do the Messiah route on purpose because Snyder did. but he still has all the Messiah stuff in there. He's a friend. That's what Jesus constantly calls himself, is a friend. And he's like, let the children come to me. You know, even there's no way to write a Superman story where you don't have the Messiah references. There's no way. Even if you don't want to do it, which I don't think James Gunn did, it just happens. You know, it just happens.
This version of Superman than any other, because this is the kind of power that no yellow sun can ever give to a Kryptonian. It's a power that comes from love and hope. Something that Kal-El knows more about than most humans on Earth. I would
hope
love
so.
to have an else world where Cavill can shine without having to hate on him because he's not correct. At the end of the day, being different doesn't mean you're straight up trash. Then again, I wouldn't worry for Korner Sweat. We have an entire universe left to see Superman showing his full potential.
Hopefully. We thought we had an entire universe yet left to show Henry Cavill Superman. It didn't happen. We thought we were going to get him back. It didn't happen. Warner Brothers is going to be bought, maybe. Who knows what's going to happen after that? Put it in the comments if you think that Warner Brothers being bought is a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Hopefully.
Which is why even though the Superman didn't show absurd feats of power or strength, I will never see him as weak. Because his true power is hidden inside a heart that's more human than any of us could ever understand. You should go check out my full review on Superman next. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Guys, go ahead and like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and his channel as well. Remember, the link is in the description. And also, don't forget to watch this video right here.